Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. It is Rope Break Radio episode 12. If you were tuned in yesterday, that was fake. It was just Rope Break Radio WrestleMania 11 edition where you forget about it and get more excited for today's edition, which is WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match, so to speak. And we've got an esteemed panel here of Rope Break writers, co-owners, and just, badasses. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing A.K. Alec.
What's going on, guys?
And, of course, the jabroni himself, Matt Donato.
What's going on, Rope Breakers?
And then, of course, what's my name again?
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Somewhere over here. So, oh yeah, right there. It's the jabroni beating Lao, pie eating AuSSy. And today we are going to give away a prize, and I know that's why all two of you viewers are here. Oh yeah! You're looking for the WrestleMania 29 dog tag. Yeah, where my dog's at? That's right. WrestleMania 29 dog tag. And Alec, why don't you tell them why this dog tag is so significant, why they want to win this?
The reason this dog tag is so special is because it is CM Punk's last WrestleMania appearance.
That's right. Plain and simple. It might be his last ever. This thing could be worth millions. And millions. But seriously, today we are going to go over a couple important topics. We're going to stick with you guys for 1 hour, so 3:30 Eastern Time. We will sign off. But until then, we thank you guys for tuning in. It's Rope Break Radio episode 12. If you're just joining us, we are first going to go over this past Monday night's Raw. Now, normally we have a Raw React show, but this week we had a little bit of technical difficulties, as you probably might have known if you were sitting here for the last half hour going, when the hell is this show going to start? Supposed to start at 2, doesn't start till 2:30. What a bunch of jabronis. Same issues we were having on Monday night. So we're going to cover Monday Night Raw and the hottest rumors and news regarding WWE. And obviously, if you saw our ad on our Facebook page, it's showtime. We're going to talk about the Sting controversy going on right now. But first, let's talk about Monday Night Raw, fellas. You guys got any hot topics that you really think we need to cover about Raw?
First and foremost, I really, really thoroughly enjoyed the attitude that we're starting to see out of Roman Reigns. You know, I like the, just the way he called out Cena in the beginning. And I mentioned this on Facebook during the live tweet. It had nothing to do with the fact that he attacked Cena. It was more that he seems to be breaking out of that stereotypical babyface mold where you see these guys who are, whenever they want to put over a babyface, WWE always puts them in John Cena's back pocket. And we're starting to see that. It seems like he's starting to break out of that stereotype, which I really enjoy, and kind of put him over a little bit for me in that respect.
Yeah, and I know we covered that yesterday, and we'll get Alec's opinion on it because Alec, a big Roman Reigns fan, and if you didn't notice, us three here, 3 different guys, 3 good friends, and Alec's favorite current star, Roman Reigns, Donato's current favorite star, Ambrose, and my favorite current star, Rollins. It all works out. We were once the Shield, but then I had to hit them both in the back with chairs.
Yeah, all right.
So,
I don't remember that.
Piggybacking off of what Matt was saying, I was really interested in what Reigns had to say on Monday Night Raw because, yeah, you're right. We talked about the Usos as one example of a group that was being teamed up with Cena to try and get them more over, even though they were already over on their own. And then it kind of was bad booking in the fact that those people like us that liked the Usos to begin with, we weren't really caring for them teaming with Cena and, in theory, sniffing Cena's ass.
Right.
So I was really excited to see Reigns break out and say, and the line I brought up yesterday was, "You're damn right, Cena sucks when I'm in the house." That was like, yeah, one big step forward in the right direction. And Alec, I know you're a big Reigns fan, so how do you think about the whole development there, and him not necessarily being a Cena guy?
For Reigns, it is time that Reigns needs to break away from what he was doing. And, people complain, well, he's not a good promo cutter, he's not good in the ring, but you have to remember he was with the Shield, so they were kind of protected in the ring. They all had different spots, they all did different things, but now is really the time for Reigns to step out of his comfort zone and really get up on the mic and call the top guys out and say, look, I'm the next guy coming up, this is what's going to happen, and go from there and establish himself as that top babyface, and eventually, I guess take the torch from John Cena when the time is right.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I agree, and what Matt and I were saying is we're still not 110% sure that Reigns is necessarily going to be the guy. I was saying that I dislike the way they go about, planning 7 months ahead of time. Hey, this is what we're going to do at WrestleMania. I don't think they can necessarily do that, especially with a guy like Reigns, who still really has a lot to prove as far as becoming a top-tier guy. I know I've said in the past that I honestly think that sometimes the belt does make the superstar, in terms of like a guy like Edge. A lot of people didn't think that he deserved it, that he was ready for it, but once he got it, he really proved that he was worthy. I think the same could happen to Reigns, but I'm not sure I'm in favor of them, going out on a limb and just saying, hey, we're going to do this at WrestleMania 31. I know they have to plan, but I just wish they would, be a little more weary and say, this guy needs just a little more, sanding before he gets to exactly where he needs to be.
Right.
Yep, I agree with that. Absolutely agree.
And then another topic we were talking about, because we're still getting that great ongoing feud with Ambrose and Rollins. We were covering, which of those three out of the Shield do you think is going to end up being the one that is lost, so to speak? Who's going to be, left in the dust, not in the main event picture necessarily? I forget what your response was to that, Matt, but you can go ahead.
I think we were mentioning how me and Alec were talking the other day about possibilities of throwing Rollins in the title feud, seeing that he is the Money in the Bank holder, having him hold the title until Brock Lesnar takes it from him down the line, setting up a feud in the future between Rollins and Reigns when Reigns would take the title from Lesnar. I think we were just talking about what is considered lost. Is being Intercontinental Champion considered lost? And the way I responded to that was, it depends. It depends on how they've built the title when that person has it. If the title is like when Ambrose held the U.S. Championship, then yes, in my opinion, that guy is lost right now. Doesn't mean they can't be found, but if the title is strong when the guy holds it, like I was mentioning with Kurt Angle, was the main eventer, and he was holding the Intercontinental Championship at one point, even after he had already been WWE Champion. So, and in my opinion, he wasn't lost holding that title, and I think both the title and him were big enough to supersede that. But no, I think it depends, and I think me and you both agreed on, if one of them were to be lost, we were afraid it was probably going to be Ambrose, who would be ducked down to the mid-card, because, the way his gimmick is set up, it's not necessarily a main event gimmick right now. Not that it couldn't be, but it doesn't seem that way. I think that's what we both agreed on. What do you think, Alec?
I agree. Yeah, Alec, what do you think?
I can't say Ambrose, because in a way, Ambrose reminds me a lot of Edge, in the way that people thought Edge wasn't going to be a guy to get over and be a champion and really be a viable part of the company. And Ambrose is, to me, he's the dark horse, where he's just going to come from behind and, I guess, really go on Edge's level and have multiple championship runs. I don't think Ambrose is the guy who's going to get lost out of those three members.
Yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from with that, with the Edge comparison. That's why we pitted him in the WrestleMania Dream card, which has taken a stalemate, by the way, but we will have round 1, part 2 voting up soon. And if you have no clue what I'm talking about, log on to ropebreakwrestling.com. Check out the WrestleMania Dream Card results for round 1, part 1. But I think, like Matt was saying, and the way I see it is that right now there's no doubt that they think Reigns is the the money maker, so to speak, the big guy. And it's like I said to Matt yesterday. It's all for them. It's all about the look. To be perfectly honest with you, it always has been. But then you've had those select guys that just really push themselves out, like a Shawn Michaels, like a Bret Hart, where they're there at the right time. I think they want to build Reigns as that big hero. What did I say yesterday, Matt? He's a good dad. He's he's got the great looks. The chicks dig him. The guys love him because he's big and muscular. He goes, "Ahoo, ah." But honestly, I think that as it stands right now, he's still third out of as far as talent goes between those three.
Right.
He has a lot of potential, especially because of his look. But as far as Ambrose goes, I think he ends up being the second fiddle or the third wheel, depending on how you look at it, just based on the fact that his gimmick is like that loose cannon, Brian Pillman, just bah, attack you like that. It's not necessarily somebody like he's almost like a Roddy Piper. Like, yeah, he might be around the main event for a little while, but then go on down to the mid card and face Goldust in the parking lot or something. I don't know. It's just a grudge feeling I guess I have. I love all three of the guys. I really do, and I hope that none of them falters. But it's like I was saying to Matt yesterday. You can't necessarily think of mid card as being lost. Now, if one of them went Zack Ryder status and just disappears, then that would be lost. But if we've got Reigns with a heavyweight championship feud, Rollins in the picture for the WWE title, and then you've got Ambrose as a U.S. or an Intercontinental champion, I don't think that that's necessarily lost. And the only reason I said that was because all three guys obviously won't be in the main title pictures at all times for their whole career. But it'll be interesting to see what the rest of the IWC thinks as far as what exactly is lost. So I kind of want to hear from you guys, those of you that are watching. Tweet us, Rope Break Wrestling. It's right on the screen. Don't be lazy. Follow us. Figure it out. And ask us a question or answer me there. What do you consider as lost? Who do you think might be the Shield member that gets lost? So that'll be interesting to hear what everybody else thinks as opposed to us.
I agree. We look forward to your questions, so don't hesitate. We love answering your questions. It's one of the best parts of doing this is being able to answer your questions, getting new perspective on things.
Absolutely.
So don't hesitate to ask. But yeah, I agree with you. I think, and it's actually a good thing to have top tier guys move down to the mid card because that actually makes the mid card look stronger. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a balance thing, and I don't think it's necessarily good or bad. I think it benefits the company to have a guy like Seth Rollins or even Roman Reigns eventually, even if he's been champion, go down. I think a lot of people get uptight over that when they see. I honestly think that a guy like a John Cena or a Randy Orton, even depending upon, obviously it depends on some of the build. If they just let him go and they're off the face of the map, like Orton with the World Heavyweight title on SmackDown, and that becomes boring and nobody cares, then obviously it doesn't work. But if they can keep a build on him, having a guy like Orton become Intercontinental Champion again, I think that'd be a great thing if they can keep a build on him. Same thing with Cena. I don't think Cena going down to a mid-card title is a bad thing. I think that could actually really help with the balance.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well. My thing, too, is as far as, and it's interesting that you bring up Cena and Orton, because I can't see Cena ever going to a mid-card title, but I can see Orton. I think he would be a great Intercontinental Champion again, and they've done it in the past with, like you said, Angle. Obviously, Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, those are all guys that have held main event titles and then eventually went back down and carried other titles. And I think the last piece I want to say on this, and then Alec, you can comment on it as well if you want, was as far as titles being titles making superstars or superstars making titles, let me offer this up. I think for the main event, if the build is proper and the belt has been built properly, then the main straps should make the superstars. Except the mid card, the superstar should make the belt, if that makes sense. So in other words, if you're Seth Rollins and you win the WWE Championship, that legitimizes him. That makes him legitimate.
Yeah,
Same with Reigns or whoever wins it, any young guy. Immediately they've gone from, hey, a player to a champion, and that's because of the belt. Now, in terms of the mid card, a lot of times, like you said, Matt, you see Dean Ambrose with the U.S. Championship. It meant nothing. Right now, as far as I'm concerned, with Sheamus having the belt, it means nothing to me.
Right. They haven't done anything with Sheamus. So you're right, it doesn't mean anything.
Now, if you have a Randy Orton win that belt, suddenly that belt means a lot. And I think that's my closing point on that. As far as the main event goes, the belt makes the superstar. The mid card, the superstar makes the belt. I think that's the way it should be, at least.
I actually agree with you on that one. That makes sense to me. I see exactly where you're coming from, because the mid card titles have always been back and forth. They've never been. Some people look at them. For me, back in the day, Intercontinental was huge. And then it started going back down again, and it was really kind of became a paperweight, and now it's starting, in my opinion, starting to pick back up again with Barrett. With Barrett being out, who knows where it's going to go. So it has that where, the person holding it definitely helps make that title into something special. Where the WWE Championship, that's always been looked at as that's the one you want. It's always been built since the beginning of time. This is the main title, so you don't need specific people.
Right.
I mean, if Zack Ryder were to get it, I don't know if that would make him or make the title. I think it's the same thing with, like, The Miz. For me personally, like, with The Miz winning the championship, I don't really feel like that made him anything special.
Right.
Well, yeah, after that, you do have to carry it and take the ball. But, Alec, you sound like you wanted to comment on it.
Yeah.
I have to agree with what you said, AuSSy, and how when you have a mid-card title, then if you put a big superstar with the IC or the U.S. Championship, then, hey, it's going to elevate that. So if you put a Randy Orton or a Roman Reigns or any members of the Shield and you give them a mid-card title with their status right now in the company, it shows, like, hey, this is a serious title, and it's also kind of like a stepping stone to, like, you're here, you're not at the WWE World Heavyweight Championship yet, but you will be. And then with the main championship, you will then you reach that brass ring, and you have to take it and carry it as far as you go.
Okay, and I totally agree with that. Before we go any farther, though, Westlin Coleman weighing in on Twitter, he says, I think Ambrose will eventually be the lost one in the future in regards to the three Shield members that we were discussing prior to that topic. And then Yogi, a.k.a. Sir Tommy T, has joined us on YouTube. How you doing, Yogi?
Tommy T, what's going on, buddy?
And he has asked us to formally call him Yogi from now on.
Yogi, all right.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, boo-boo, how about another picnic basket?
I was waiting for that.
And we also have, looks like a new viewer, I'm Passion.
All right.
Hopefully I'm saying that right. He says, I'm here for the episode.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot for watching, man. And one thing that you guys can do for us to help us out here to gain max exposure so we can continue to do giveaways on this podcast as well as the normal ones that we do on the pay-per-views, go ahead and share the link for us. Share the YouTube link on your Facebook page. Tweet it on to your Twitter so all your followers can see it. Let your friends know, hey, listen, I know a pretty good wrestling show. Yeah, the guys are kind of tools, but they put on a good show. They talk a lot of trash. I was speaking more for Donato. But please do it.
I quit rope
That's the way that you guys can help us help you by being able to give you guys more and more giveaways. We need to get more and more viewers, more donations, and if you want to donate to the site and help our giveaways get better, if you're like, ah, shit, they're giving away a WrestleMania 29 dog tag, these effers can't even get a WrestleMania 30 dog tag. We need your guys' help. If you want to see better, bigger and better giveaways, help us out. Donate. There's a donate button right on the site. $1 or anything that you can do helps. I know we're all out here eating ramen, just like you guys. So, without further ado, thanks again. And now I'm Passion says, hello there.
How's it
Hello
going?
there.
Hello. How you doing?
You know what I have to say, though, to I'm Passion is you come and you're a new viewer, and you don't even have the decency to tell us your first name. What is your name? Okay. Oh, look at that. Max Sauce Dew. Max Sauce Dew as you joined in. Thanks for watching, Max. He says done. I'm assuming that means he shared the link on his Facebook. That's my man.
Awesome.
Good man.
Yeah, we appreciate the hell out of that. Thank you.
Thumbs up
Yes.
to you.
And right now, you know what? I want to go into grading. I'm Passion says done. He shared it as well. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
But I want to go into a quick. We'll wrap up the Raw review here. I want your guys' grades of the show. Let me know what each of you guys thought of the show, and one closing remark, and then we're going to get into questions. So if you guys are watching, Benjamin Bringas, aka I'm Passion, send us your questions, whether it be on the YouTube page, on Twitter at Rope Break Wrestling. If you send it to us on our Twitter page, we will retweet it and answer it. We'll answer all your questions. We are here for another 40 minutes, so send us your questions in now. But let's start with Alec. Give me your grade on this past Monday night's Raw and one closing thought.
I'll give Monday Night Raw a solid B, not a B plus, not Triple H, but I'll give it a B. And I know we talk about as far as an entertainment value, it's a B. I feel like as time goes on, WWE is always evolving and improving upon their product, and it shows each week with Raw, and they're doing better, as far as the segments, the matches. It's really starting to, I guess, get back to how it used to be in the early 2000s and the 90s, when you really could sit down and enjoy the product and make it through the show without saying, oh, I don't want to watch this, I don't want to watch that. This is a piss break match. You really want to stay tuned to the show. So that's my closing remark about Monday Night Raw.
Well put. Matt, go ahead.
How am I gonna follow that? All right. Probably not to jump on Alec what Alec just said, but I have to probably give it a B too. I thought there were some pretty solid matches. I mean, even the Del Rio match, that even was pretty decent. A couple cool moves. I think it's difficult for me because coming off of the week prior, having the Jericho return and the AJ Lee return, you can't really top that. So having the Raw to follow is kind of difficult to get as amped up for. I thought it was overall solid. There was a lot of character development. All the main characters got developed. My only gripe with the show, my biggest gripe, and I mentioned this on live tweeting, was the ending. I hated the ending because I felt like the majority of it was just regurgitated from the week prior. They did pretty much the same. What are you doing over there? What are you doing over there?
Yeah, you talking about the People's Champ flexing the people's muscles?
Oh my God!
Get out of here, jabroni! It looks like two wet pool noodles on the side of your torso. Anyway, can I get back to what I was saying?
Yeah, continue. Jesus, come on.
Good Lord. The ending felt regurgitated from the week prior. It was just the same old stuff. Cena's down for the count. Here comes Rollins in with the briefcase. Oh, nope, he gets stopped by Ambrose. Here comes Orton. Here comes Kane. And then Roman Reigns saves the day. And it's just like, again? Like, you really couldn't have wrote something a little bit different. And then, having at the end, them holding each other's arms up was kind of cheesy, like, yes, I'm the next big babyface kind of thing. It didn't do anything for me. I didn't think it was a good way to close the show. started off kind of strong for Reigns, and then kind of simmered down a little bit. But that's pretty much why I give it a B. And they're lucky I don't give it a B minus for that ending. They're lucky.
I'm sure corporate is watching right now. Going,
Yeah.
please don't give us a B minus.
They're shaking in their boots.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you not get what you want?
Cue the Willy Wonka meme. Tell me more about how that was a B minus. But I am also, and not to be, a dud panel here, but I'm going to give the show a B as well. And both you guys bring up great points. I kind of feel like that kid in high school that doesn't know the answer and it's like, oh, they took what I was going to say. But I really agree exactly with what you guys said, Matt. You're right. The ending was regurgitated. It was cheesy that they hold each other's hands up. And you know what I say? I honestly feel like, and I don't know if this is just me. Maybe you guys can tell me if I'm just being a hater or whatever it is. But I honestly feel like that's Cena. Like he, like in the back, like before he's like, hey, Reigns, let's hold each other's hands up and I'll put you over. Like he thinks he's like, the only guy that can help people get over. Like, hey, throw the Usos with me, I'll get them over. Like I just feel like it's him doing that shit. Like he's the puppet master back there, making shit happen. But I thought the show was good, and like Alec said, the past few Raws have been shows that you can sit down and watch and not go, oh, this guy sucks, I'm going to take a leak, or whatever. I'm sure there's still matches in there that aren't nearly as good as some of the other matches, but like I've said, you can't take every single Raw at full value. You can't take every Raw at full value. Sorry. As far as, like, making it a go-home, I still think it needs to be a lead up to the go-home episode. I think that eventually people will understand that, hey, every Raw is not going to be as good as, the pay-per-view. I feel like that's what people are expecting.
Right.
And it's not going to happen. It's meant to be, let's build, and then eventually, bang, a great episode, and then the pay-per-view. And then we start over again. We build. I think that's the way it should be. But I thought Raw wasn't bad. I still like the entertaining aspect of it. And Wesleyan Coleman on Twitter says he gave Raw an A because of Randy Orton beating Ambrose and Fandango dancing his heart out on the announce table. Not sure if that's sarcasm or not.
I'm not sure how to respond to that.
But either way, it looks like the esteemed panel of the legendary veteran marks here from the IWC. We all give the show a B, and there's only two things you can do about it. Absolutely nothing and like it. So moving on, we're ready to take your questions. But first, before we do that, I almost forgot Passion here. I'm Passion, a.k.a. Ben Bringas. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but we're going to call you Ben. How about that? Ben says, Raw was not good this week. Just wish they didn't push Rollins as a heel. Come on, man. Cheer up. I love Rollins. I'm the biggest damn Rollins fans you ever saw. Matter of fact, I text him on the weekends. But, now we're going to move into that portion of the show where we take your questions. So send us your questions. And again, as somebody off camera throws Alec a couple Gatorades to smash, we're taking your questions on Twitter, which if you can't find the Twitter, it's right, where the hell did it go? Right there. Right there. At Rope Break Wrestling. And you can continue to talk to us on the YouTube page as well. We will answer all your questions. But first off, while you guys are sending your questions, we've got... where the hell did it go? Somebody here asked, was it Berkeley Pierre is tuning in. He says, what about Sting? ? He's like, yo, you made that ad, looked dope as hell. I was excited to hear about Sting, and now you're making me wait till the end. So we'll cover some Sting while we wait for you guys to send in your questions. And as far as Sting goes, man, what do you guys think? You think it's legit? Obviously, RopeBreakWrestling.com. And on our Facebook page, we were the very first site. I'm not talking Cage Side. I'm not talking Bleacher Report. I'm not talking No DQ. I'm not talking any of those jabronis. Rope Break on Facebook had the Sting tweet first. I feel like Ray J, but we hit it first.
Of course we did. Are you kidding me?
Oh, God.
What do you expect? Something less from Rope Break? Come on. If you know people who've never been to our website, RopeBreakWrestling.com, then you're a terrible friend. I mean, that's all I can say about that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's ridiculous.
You're like okay, and your friend is Marty Jannetty. You're just terrible. You're a terrible human.
Yeah.
For the record, I don't. For the record on that,
Marty Jannetty is watching this crying.
For the record, I don't think Marty Jannetty tried to escape through that barbershop window either. But let's talk.
No,
Sting.
he definitely did. Come on, he definitely did. He was trying to escape. He threw himself through it.
All right, let's talk Sting.
Going to Sting though. I think it's legit. I mean, it could be just something else. I mean, he's old. It could be like he's reminding himself he's got a dentist appointment on the 14th. I mean, who knows? But seriously though, I can't see him. All this talk about him going. I don't think there's really been word yet. I mean, there's been some people say he signed, and then there's other sources that say he hasn't signed, so it's still up in the air. You know, but with all this talk of him going to WWE, and then he puts out this cryptic tweet. I mean, he could feasibly be going back to Impact Wrestling.
Oh my God! Don't say that.
He could show up there. I mean, shit. I mean, right now they could use him, but anyway.
Yeah, but the whole thing is the tweet is next Monday night. That's what's got everybody, you know, with their panties up in a bunch.
Right. No,
next Monday.
Well, all joking aside, all seriousness, I really do think it's legit. I think he'll show up. Maybe it'll be, you know, they'll do some kind of promo for him during the show. Having him just show up would be pretty cool.
I think this. Let me propose this to you.
Go for
I
it.
think that, in what we're hearing, what it could be is they're going to announce him as downloadable content for the video game. That could be a huge, and huge would be an understatement. That would be a huge disappointment if that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, yeah, I'm going to end up buying the game, but I could give two shits about if he's on the game or not. I want him on the game, but I want him on the effing show more.
Exactly. It's cool to have him in the game, but yeah, everybody getting all pumped up. Sting's gonna be there, and then they just unveil that Sting. But I don't think that they would unveil Sting as an unlockable character or downloadable character, you know, and then that'll just allude to the fact that obviously he's signed with WWE because they wouldn't be able to put him in the game if he wasn't on contract.
Right.
So that would mean he would have to show up.
Maybe he shows up and then they, you know, announce that he's going to be on the game. Maybe he's the one that's got the alternate cover. That'd be pretty badass.
That'd be pretty cool. Although
cover than Hogan.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it on our Facebook page, we were one of the first people to put that up as well. Hulk Hogan recently tweeted out that he was signing pictures of himself to go inside the special edition WWE, what is it, 2K? Yeah, 2K14.
15.
Is it 15? Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm far behind on this. 2K15.
But what I want to say about that is, not to interrupt, but I don't want people to get too literal because remember, and Alex should know this, I'm not sure if it was this past game or maybe it was WWE 13. They did have a special coffin edition with The Undertaker.
Yeah, that was this year's.
That was this year's.
That's true.
That wasn't necessarily, you know, because Daniel Bryan was still the backing for the alternate cover. And yes, I'm a diehard Rock fan, but I didn't think he deserved the cover I even flipped mine to Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
Hopefully they do an alternate cover like that again, and maybe Hogan just has some kind of freaking, comes in a big ass Viagra container or something like that. It says "eat your vitamins" on the front in quotation marks, but that remains to be seen. Hopefully, it's not effing Hogan on the other side. That's like Cena on one side and Hogan on the other. I might take the effing cover off the thing and draw somebody else on the front, a stick figure. I don't want either of those guys.
I'd buy that. Somebody actually proposed on our. They commented on that post and actually they designed their own cover, and it was Connor the Crusher on the cover.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. And I commented. I thought that was really awesome. I thought maybe that would be something because I know WWE just put up a
they just
foundation for him. So that's something that they could do. They could have that as one of the alternate covers, and just have the money for that one go towards, the for donations and stuff for the charity. I think that'd be pretty cool. But I really liked that cover.
Yeah, well, let's have Alec comment on the Sting situation, whether or not he thinks he's actually going to be back or not, and then we've got a influx of questions pouring in on Twitter and on YouTube to answer for you guys. So one of these jabronis out here doing landscaping, running an effing chainsaw right outside my window. I'm going to have to go out there and start laying the smack down in a second. But Alec, go ahead and give us your piece on the Sting situation.
I'm going to have to say that it's going to have to do with the 2K15 video game because, I think, I don't know if it was a rumor last week or the week before that, but, the Sting rumors are off the hook since it was announced, but, there was a rumor that he still hasn't signed with the company. The intention's there, but they're still working it out. So I do think that it is just for the video game, and, he doesn't have to be with WWE to be a part of the video game. He can sign a separate deal with 2K Sports in order to appear in the game, which is what Hogan did for 2K14, which is why he was in the game. So I do think it's for the video game. If Sting appears, it would be great. It'd finally get the rumors out of the way. It'd be confirmed. We'd have Sting on TV to set up, whatever angle they want to do for WrestleMania or any pay-per-view. But I do think that it is for the 2K15 video game.
That's good that you mentioned that because Kevin Lindsay just actually said on the YouTube page, doesn't 2K have the ability to sign people to appear in the game with approval from the WWE without them signing a Legends contract? Yes, you are correct.
Do they?
Okay. Do. That is what Hogan did last year before signing his Legends contract. It could very well happen again this year. I hope that's not the case, that it's just a video game thing, kind of like we saw with the Ultimate Warrior, where he was announced for the video game, but we didn't see him until the Hall of Fame or anything like that.
I think for Sting it would be if they just announced him for the video game and he wasn't there. It would be so lackluster. It would be such a huge pop having this guy come in here who's never worked for Vince McMahon. And instead of having him come in personally, they're just like, oh, he's in the video game.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
What I would like to see, though, and I know this probably will never happen because there's so many talents that they would have to sign, 2K would have to sign agreements with. I would like to see a WWE 2K Monday Night Wars edition where you go through the Monday Night Wars and you can play as either promotion and try and get your ratings up higher. Like they could have a mode where you could be the booker and book the different matches. And I'm not talking about Booker T, but you could book the different matches and see where you can get your ratings. Make different choices as to, at one point in the game it could come up at, do you want to announce the results for Raw live on your broadcast of Nitro? Cool things like that. I think that would make an excellent game. And then you could have Sting, obviously, leading the charge here for WCW. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I guess that's really all we can do. Is similar to the CM Punk situation. All we can do is wait and see. Nobody can be 110% sure whether or not he is or isn't actually going to be there. But come Monday, we will find out. Could be like the Jericho thing, though, where, that was kept really well under wraps, and we didn't really know about it until the day of. We heard rumors, but we still weren't even 110% sure that was true. They kept it. They did a really good job keeping that under wraps. So maybe they're doing the same thing with Sting. But let's go ahead and roll right into questions here, and we're going to take the ones off of the Twitter page first, and we're going to start with Yogi, who can be followed at It's Yogi. And he asks, do you think Undertaker will compete at the next WrestleMania, or when will he come out and announce his retirement? Alec, I'm going to leave this one up to you. He's our resident Undertaker mark. Go ahead, give us your thoughts on that.
You know, in my heart, I do want to see another Undertaker match, but as we all know, after that match with Lesnar, it was clear Undertaker is done. He took a huge beating. The injuries have really started to take their toll on the guy. He's given us 25 years of entertainment. It's time for the guy to hang up the boots, right off into the sunset. You know, when his retirement announcement comes, I don't know. It could be, at next year sometime, or it could be at WrestleMania 32, because it's supposedly rumored to be in Dallas. So that could be the case. But I don't think Undertaker will wrestle another match in the WWE anytime soon or ever again.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of sad to think that, it's just weird to think of a WrestleMania without Undertaker. I know, I don't know such a thing. So,
Yeah, exactly.
It's to think of it, it's kind of weird. It's kind of, they've got a huge void to fill there.
Right.
And it could be proposed as a really big opportunity for two other guys to really show off and shine, or it could be a big hole in the pay-per-view.
I think Bo Dallas should take that spot and continue his streak.
I think you should shut your mouth about Bo Dallas.
Alec, you know what your problem is?
I don't believe, right?
You don't believe.
Yeah, all right. Shut your mouth.
All right, let's take the next question.
Hater.
Next question comes in from Senor El Roboto, Max SDO. Max Stu. I'm going to go ahead and take a gander that is Max Sauce Do. And he says, I'm not really saying that right, so too bad, Brony. His question is, what can we expect from another Cena title reign? And this one I'll give to Matt, but first I want to say, same old shit, same old shit, same old shit. Now, Matt's got some pretty good views on Cena's title reign here, and I'll let him handle this one.
All right. What I see happening with the Cena reign is, I personally, when he won the title at Money in the Bank, I really wasn't as upset as the other two rope breakers over there. They were kind of upset, didn't want it. But I look at it as he's not.
That's an understatement.
I'm trying to play. They cried a little. I'm not gonna lie. They cried about 20 minutes, especially AuSSy. He's a big whiner. Cried and cried. I had to console him. It was actually kind of sweet. Anyway, I think that I see it as him being a transitional champion. He's a champion to kind of legitimize, and I know, me and AuSSy and Alec, we talked about this, him legitimizing the titles, and at least AuSSy didn't really see it that way. But I think, he is the top guy, and whether you like him or not, he does legitimize titles. Him holding a title, having held multiple titles, him holding that title and then having Brock Lesnar come in, or whoever they decide to come in and beat Cena for those titles, can then carry them. And I think if Brock Lesnar does beat him, and I know it's kind of iffy because he is part-time, but I think if he comes in and beats Cena for the title, and he holds it until, say, WrestleMania or whenever, which would be an extremely long time for him to hold the titles, whoever beats him for those titles is gonna be huge. It's gonna be such a big push for them. So it's kind of, you have to find that balance of, is it worth the wait to have whoever takes titles from him get that big push? Because if Reigns beats the guy who defeated the streak, and I know that's also kind of up in the air because some people aren't too happy about that and don't see it as legitimate, but in wrestling terms, he beat the streak. That's huge. He's got a huge push on him. Nobody can beat Brock Lesnar. So if somebody comes in and beats him for the titles, that's huge. Especially if that guy is a guy like Daniel Bryan, and he comes in, I think that'd be a huge push for him. So it comes down to, is it worth the wait? And I don't think that Cena is necessarily the long-term champion. He's just kind of a placeholder, so you have to kind of put up with him for the time being as being the champion. And I don't necessarily mind it so much in knowing that, because I know I'm not going to see him until WrestleMania. Now, if he does hold it till WrestleMania and I'm wrong, then it might get a little bit annoying seeing him come out with the same stuff over and over and over. Nothing against Cena, but
same old shit. Same old shit.
Pretty much. Shit. But that's just the way that I look at it. I see it as placeholder until Brock Lesnar or even maybe Rollins cashes in, which I don't think that's going to happen. My opinion is I don't see Rollins cashing in successfully. So, with that being said, Brock Lesnar takes it until the current plans are stating that it's going to be Reigns versus Lesnar at WrestleMania 31. Reigns gets his push all the way till then, beats Lesnar for the title. He's way over at that point because he just beat the guy who nobody can beat, not even The Undertaker could beat him. So I think that would, like I said, it's whether or not, it's worth the wait for you. But for me, I think it could be worth the wait.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. Now we've got a slew of more questions to answer with just under 15 minutes left to go in the podcast here. So we will. We're not going to keep everybody. I know everybody's here trying to win that WrestleMania 29 dog tag. They're all shit, yeah. And I did announce on the Facebook page that in order to win that, you had to come up with the best question. So it's not by random for the first time. For the first time ever, it's whoever has the best question. And I'm not going to reveal that, or we're not going to reveal that until right after the show here. So let's take another question here from our Facebook page. The Swagger face turn. What do you think of it? That comes in from @I'mBallista. Well, I'll take that one. Seeing how the other two jabronis butchered the hell out of the other two questions that fans wanted answered, and they just couldn't come through for you guys.
Yeah, all right.
I'm getting real sick of your garbage.
As far as the Swagger face turn goes, I think it was something that was needed and was overdue. I don't necessarily like Swagger as a face, but we needed to see that matchup between him and Rusev. And Rusev Furika, Rusev Machka. I think potentially he could be the first to beat Rusev, and that's kind of a double answer right there because Signor El Roboto from Twitter asked us the same question there. Question for all three rope breakers: who will be the first to beat Rusev? I like the Swagger face turn to face Rusev, and I think Matt was the first one to go out on a limb and make this prediction that it's very possible Swagger might be the first to beat Rusev. And the reason I think that that's possible is because you've got the USA versus the Russia gimmick, and how many times do they want to, put Russia over USA? Remains to be seen. But real quick, you guys, one word, one superstar's name. Who will be the first to beat Rusev? Go.
I'm on Swagger. I said that from the get-go. Swagger.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to take Swagger in this one too. If they want to give him a boost, then I guess beating Rusev is a boost because Rusev's been unstoppable. So Swagger.
Yeah. Okay. So it seems we're in agreement there. Next question comes in from Wesleyan Coleman, the self-proclaimed biggest rope break fan in the world. Not sure that you guys may or may not agree with that. So, make it known if you think that you're a bigger fan than him. He says, could we be seeing Orton, Kane, and Rollins all turn against each other soon? Could we see Orton turn face? I'll start off with that by saying I think turning Orton face would be a mistake. I think he still has heel work to be done. He needs to go deep into that heel character.
Yep.
He needs to stop being that piss-poor Triple H's authority bitch, and he needs to turn a hardcore heel, like start punting mother effers in the face again. That's what I'm looking for. And until he does that, I don't want to see a face turn. I hate him as a face. I think he does garbage work as a face. Yeah, people like him because he's Randy Orton. He's been around for a while. And, soccer moms dig him because he's got a washboard abs and shitty tattoos. But, it is what it is. I think Orton should stay heel. And as far as Orton, Kane, and Rollins turning against each other, I think, yeah, it's going to end up happening. I think we'll probably see it's possible we might see a Kane versus Orton at SummerSlam. What are your guys' thoughts?
I definitely, by the way they built it on Raw, that definitely would make some sense. I'm kind of getting sick of you. And then I was like, what the hell? Yeah, I definitely could see that. I don't know if the match itself would be good. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that. We'd have to see how they build that up.
Right.
It could be interesting, but I mean, when he turns on Orton, does that mean Kane turns on the Authority? And if he turns on the Authority, is Kane babyface? And if Kane's babyface, I'm quitting watching wrestling forever. I think he works.
Kane can be a babyface. He just can't be a comedy act. That's the
Right.
thing. He can still be dark and beat the shit out of people and, be a demon-like character and be over with the crowd if he's whipping Orton's ass. But I don't think that will be a really good match if they decide to do it. Reason being, Kane needs to be carried at this point in his career, and Orton is incapable of carrying talents as we've seen, as we saw at Survivor Series with his match with Big Show. Sore subject for me, but I don't think that he's really capable of carrying a lesser talent. I think when he's got a talent that's on par with him, he makes for a great match, and then when he's got a guy like Daniel Bryan or somebody else that's maybe a little bit better than him technically speaking, they have the makings of a great match. But I don't want to see Kane in a match with anybody that can't carry him. Alec, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna have to agree with what you said about Orton. He needs to go deeper into his heel work because I think that's where his potential lies, and I think WWE hasn't capitalized on that. And I do think maybe there will be a turn again. There may be rounds, and Orton could turn on Kane, or Kane could turn against the Authority. It's already up in the air, but I do agree Orton needs to stay a heel. I think for Rollins, he could work either way, but I think for Kane, if they want to keep calling him the Demon Kane, then he needs to stay a heel.
I agree, and they also need to get rid of that stupid mask. I hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Just wanted to make that known. Hate it.
All right, let's jump over to the YouTube page to snag a couple of questions off there. And if you jabronis aren't following us on on Twitter yet, the hell are you doing? What are you waiting for? Could have had your question answered a long time ago. And now, as I say that, Kevin Lindsay just following us on Twitter. Well done, pal. Took you effing long enough. What are we, almost an hour into the thing?
Hey, you leave him alone.
We're going to kind of rapid fire some of these questions here because I'm not kidding. We have quite a few questions to answer here and not much time left in the podcast. First off, Ben says, make Alexander Bo leave.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But then the question comes in from Berkeley Pierre. He says, what happened to Damian Sandow? Didn't he win Money in the Bank? Now they turn him to a clown. Bury the kid. Matt and I were just talking about that yesterday. And I think, Sandow was buried. He was. There's no way getting around it. He won Money in the Bank, was due for a big push, and fell through. But I do like what he's doing in the mid-card now. I find his gimmick hilarious. I want to see it keep going. I know some people are not in agreement with that, but if you didn't watch Main Event last night, he came out as HB Sandow. He came out as HBK, but Sandow and Bret Hart was there on Main Event in Jericho's highlight reel, and the whole Ottawa crowd started really giving him heat, chanting, "You screwed Bret," to Damian Sandow, who was playing the role of HBK. The Heartbreak Sandow. And it was hilarious. I loved every second of it. I loved him coming out as Bret Hart. I loved him coming out as Vince McMahon. I think when it first started, he was coming out as like Lance Stevenson and some of these other people. It wasn't nearly as funny, but now they're really digging deep and giving him heat. The second he comes out, I just start pissing my pants. It's hilarious. And I know I said we're going to rapid fire these, but go ahead, guys. Give me your thoughts on Sandow.
I completely agree with you. I like where it's going. I would like him better in obviously a more main event role. I think that he's got that kind of talent, but because of where the cards lie, I think that you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta take it for what it is. And he's a mid-card guy now, and I think this is keeping him relevant. I think that it is funny. His Vince McMahon was hilarious. I was dying. That was hilarious. And it's working for him right now. And who knows? And I know AuSSy, you said you think that he's unfixable. He can't come back out of this. He's kind of too far gone. But I think that him keeping relevant could he could do something where he gets pissed off at playing all these stupid gimmicks and do a CM Punk-esque promo and kind of go off and then come out as more of an aggressive guy and start getting that push again. So I do think there is still that small window of hope. There's still that small possibility, but I do like what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think he's doing a good job with being a comedic act on screen, and he's really embracing the role. And maybe the powers that be backstage will maybe give him a better role as time progresses.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say that's not possible. It definitely is possible. But for now, I'm enjoying what he's doing. And ask Zack Ryder if he would like Damien Sandow's spot right now. I guarantee you he would. So real quick here, Kevin Lindsay asks another question, and we're going to kind of rapid fire this one, like a one-word answer if possible. Undertaker-related question: what if he took off a few years and then came back? I don't think that's really feasible at his age, so I'm going to say no. Matt, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to throw it to Alec, being the resident.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say no. I just think it's time for Taker to hang it up. Not that I want him to, but he needs to. It has to happen. He's gone on long enough. He needs to stop injuring himself. It's got to happen. So no.
Okay. Next question on the YouTube page. Or Matt, did you want to give a yes or no on that?
I was just going to, pretty much what you guys said, we're going to make it unanimous. No, I don't think he'll come back. I think he's done. Hall of Fame induction, that's about it. So no.
Okay, fair enough. And as we wrap it up here, Goldberg could beat Lesnar. I would kill to see Goldberg return to the WWE. That comes in from Yogi, a.k.a. Sir Tommy T. And no thank you. I'll pass on a Goldberg return unless it's to face Ryback or some kind of novelty match. But Goldberg wants crazy-ass money. Goldberg wants crazy-ass spotlight. And to be honest with you, I don't think he deserves it. He was never too great of a worker. He was benefit being right place, right time in WCW. I do like Goldberg. I'm not going to, front and act like I hate the guy, but I don't see any spot for him on the current roster. Max Sauce Do asks, will George R.R. Martin die before he completes the Game of Thrones series? What do you think? This is some kind of pop culture podcast, jabroni? We aren't talking about Game of Thrones. The real question is, will John Cena effing get out of the WWE before Game of Thrones ends? Probably not. Next question comes in from Kevin Lindsay. Kurt Angle returned to beat Rusev? ? That would be best for business. That's what I want to see.
Absolutely.
I want to see USA versus Russia Angle. I would love to see Kurt Angle come in and freaking open a can on Rusev. That would be the shit. Put him in the ankle lock, make him tap. Oh, man, that'd be awesome.
Holy cow. That was a great question. Got me. It's not even happening.
Should be noted that Angle said today's deal with TNA ends with September 21st, so he could join WWE. You never know.
He has said in interviews that's his goal. He wants to come back to WWE. So that
he'll be back. There's no way.
It's almost foregone conclusion. Yeah, he'll be back.
Next question comes in from Berkeley Pierre. Thank God they broke up. Cameron was dead weight to Naomi. Who else agrees? We might see
Completely.
Naomi versus Cameron at Battleground? Question mark. I agree.
I agree.
I agree and
Yep,
disagree.
I agree.
We'll throw it to Matt here because Alec and I have kind of been dominating the past couple of questions here. But Matt, your thoughts on Cameron and Naomi's split?
I think that I think Naomi is the breakout star. I mean, her talent is probably some of the best on that roster, and I really think she needs to be the next champion. And the reason I didn't say Divas champion is because I hate that name. It should be the Women's Championship, but that's a rant for another podcast. But I think Naomi's a breakout star. I don't think Cameron's bad. I think she annoys me, which tells me that she's going to get some good heat as a solo heel. I think she'll be a great heel. She gets good heat. She's annoying. She's got that attitude that nobody likes, and I think that'll really benefit her in the long run. But having her together with Naomi, I think it's kind of dead weight for both of them.
I agree.
So I think the split was good, definitely for both.
All right, so that wraps up the YouTube questions we got. Looks like one more question here to answer, and it comes from a guy that has been tuning in a bunch of times of late. It's Aaron, the Mason Dixon.
Oh, man.
And Aaron Mason, if you don't really understand that analogy, the Mason-Dixon line, look it up. You'll figure it out. Aaron Mason asks, what would be your ideal situation for Rollins to cash in on? I've thought about this many times as I lay my head to sleep. I say, now I lay me down to sleep. When the hell will Rollins cash in and beat John Cena's candy ass? But no, really, I think the ideal situation for him would be to cash in on Roman Reigns after Roman Reigns wins at WrestleMania. I know Alec would not love to see this, but I'd love to see Roman Reigns come in with a one-day Kane-like reign where he wins the championship, and the next day on Raw he loses it to Rollins.
Oh, no. No.
I would love that too. Actually, I would, especially if Reigns beats Lesnar, because that's like, holy shit, nobody's beating Lesnar. Look at this guy, and then here comes Rollins with his briefcase cashing in, the guy who just did the unthinkable, and wins it on a fluke. Even
at WrestleMania would work if Lesnar and Reigns have this death-defying match. Both of them are effing beat and battered, and Reigns delivers a spear, pins him, and then goes to shake his hand or something, and then Lesnar F5s the son of a bitch, and then Rollins comes out and freaking Lesnar was with Rollins all along or some shit, and Rollins wins. That would put huge heat. You want to talk about passing the torch?
Yeah, that would be
Lesnar passing the torch to Rollins as, here you go, now you can have all my heat, buddy, because you're about to freaking get trounced. You know what I mean? How pissed would people be, especially the young kids and the demographic that loves Roman Reigns, which is young kids, women, and Alec.
Wow. No, I have to agree with you guys. I think it'd be a huge entertainment aspect of the show. Like, here's Roman Reigns, he's finally got the brass ring, and then Rollins just rips it away from him the next day. I think it'd be huge. It'd be a huge feud to build from the end of WrestleMania up until SummerSlam. I think it'd be great, honestly, really.
I think if that happens, the rapper Big Sean is going to have to come out on the microphone and go, swerve. But that looks like that's all the questions we've got. So now it looks like we're going to be slating to give away a WrestleMania dog tag. And this is what you guys have been, what you've all been waiting for. And it looks like we lost a couple of viewers there in the last second. Their candy asses aren't getting a dog tag. And that makes me go, oh, you didn't know? Well, I think based on the reaction here, and we can all go and debate on this live in front of everybody to see, and everybody to bite their fingernails and wonder, are they going to be the winner of the prize? But I think based on the reaction that I got from you guys, it looks like Kevin Lindsay asking Kurt Angle return to beat Rusev, ? Might just be the best one that we got today. I don't know. That made me mark out for a second there on the podcast. You guys, I think it would have to be between that and between Aaron Mason saying what would be your ideal situation for Rollins to cash in on. But if it's me, I'm going with Kevin Lindsay asking if Kurt Angle is going to return to beat Rusev. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Yep, definitely. I marked out too. Was really excited over that question, even though it's an imaginary scenario. I was like, yes, I'm getting ready. I'm like, I want to watch this tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Awesome
Yeah.
question. Got me excited. Definitely a good question. Great question.
I'll have to agree with that. I think it's a great question, and if it never happens, you can always do it in the video game, whether you create Angle or whatever. It's possible.
Yep.
I think that's the best question of the day, really.
Yep. So I think it's unanimous. Kevin Lindsay winning the giveaway.
Kevin Lindsay, the new guy. And he also tweets, enjoying my first Rope Break Wrestling podcast, hashtag WWE, hashtag WWE2K, or maybe I'll say it like Michael Cole, hashtag WWE. And congratulations, Kevin Lindsay.
Maggle.
You've won the WrestleMania 29 dog tag, and in order to redeem your prize, all you have to do is send us in a personal message or on Facebook in a personal message or a direct message on Twitter. Send us your shipping address so I can send this sumbitch to you for free. For free! And with that, I want to leave you guys with a closing statement that Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull Challenge debuted on CMT this past week, and the winner was none other than New York's Capital Region's own Jason. Don't know the guy personally, but he beasted it, and he was on the first episode, beat out a Texas guy, beat out an Oklahoma guy, proving that New York, we got some muscle. So check that show out for sure. Guys, you got any closing statements for the millions?
I'll throw it to Alec first. Go for it.
I guess closing statement. I guess it's great to finally be on the podcast. It's my first one. Well, not my first one, but I guess my first official podcast with you guys. It's been fun. Questions have been great. I really look forward to doing this every week. So thank you guys for all your questions, and then I'll throw it back to Matt.
I agree with you, Alec. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all your awesome questions, for being a part of this. We're hoping to expand our horizons, expand this show, and make it huge, and continue to prove that Rope Break is the best around. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Rope Break.
All right. Again, too, piggybacking off of what the guys are saying, thank you guys for tuning in, for watching this show. You made this podcast here one of our most successful hangouts. In the future, we are doing this every single week. Please don't make me have to let you guys know. Please like our page on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and always keep an eye out. We're doing this once a week. Us 3 guys are going to answer all of your questions. In the future, we're not going to be going over Raw review because we're going to do that after Monday Night Raw on the Raw React show. So we'll have more time for questions, more time for the topics you guys want to talk about, and if you keep it up, we can keep on doing giveaways like this. Like I said, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. Please get the word out. Word of mouth is powerful. Let your friends know. Like, share, and subscribe to the video, to the YouTube channel. Please share us. Help us. We are just 3 regular Joes, just like you guys, diehard wrestling fans, just like you guys, poor, just like most of you guys. And if you're not poor, please donate to the site by going to ropebreakwrestling.com. Hit the donate button. And that's all I got to say about that. And for Alec, for Matt, I'm AuSSy. This is ropebreakwrestling.com. It's been a great episode of Rope Break Radio 12. Look out for Rope Break Radio 13 coming at you next week. Thanks again for watching, and have an excellent day. Actually, have an awesome day.
And now I just quit Rope Break.